What's good, everybody? Welcome into the Coach and Company podcast. We are here every single weekday to support the morning show. If you miss any of the morning show today on YouTube or on social media, I encourage you to go back and watch it on demand. Plenty of best bets, and your boy, two more plays. I've been on fire. Now, the show, a little bit up and down, but guess what? If you watch anything in the sports betting community, everybody's getting crushed because these football games are incredibly hard to pick. Now, the last two nights, we have done a premium pop-up. Tonight, we'll be back here live again, the adjusted start time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, as we get set for a big one. Yeah, I know it's two win teams, but right now, the Ravens are the betting favorite to win their division. How? We're going to talk about that coming up right now. Let's bring in my man from Sure Dog USA and a big part of what we do here at Coach and Company and BTT Studios, my man Mikey P. And Mikey, topic number one today will be the Ravens and the return of Lamar Jackson. And the fact that they're the betting favorite when they're 2 games back of the Steelers, it says two things. What the books think about the Steelers and what the books think about the Ravens with Lamar Jackson healthy. The reason they're the betting favorite is if they win those 2 games, they'll have the same record and they'll also own the tiebreaker. For people that are wondering, how does that work? Does the math? Should the Ravens be the betting favorite right now for the AFC North?
I don't think so. Lamar Jackson's missed 3 games. The Ravens have lost 5, but even in their wins, they haven't looked like a complete football team. So for me, it's about their defense has been atrocious. I think when push comes to shove, I'd rather have the Steelers' defense. Obviously, Lamar Jackson is a dual threat. He's younger. He's a 2-time MVP. I know how good Lamar Jackson is. I can't compare him to Aaron Rodgers at this stage, but John Harbaugh's teams are known for collapsing and blowing big game leads. So I still lean Steelers, but I can understand the logic behind the Ravens as well.
It's funny because last week there was those AI things on social media. They're so good, and they had one with Mike Tomlin, who was talking to his team after they get blown out last week or whatever the score was. He's like, "All right, I know it was a tough loss. I know it was, but now we can be 9-8, 9-8 again." And I'm like, I think that's how people think about the Steelers right now. And I know it's blasphemy to say that they should ever change a head coach that is so beloved. And in Pittsburgh, that's just something they don't do. But I really feel like if you have a franchise who's an OG with the Cowboys and the Packers, and your 9-8 is your rallying cry, at some point, do we not think about changing some of these coaches? Because Harbaugh on the other side, I believe he's the longest tenured head coach in the entire league, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe since 2008. But, Coach, I think I would flip the question here to you. Will Andy Reid go down more remembered for his time in Philadelphia or Kansas City?
Well, Kansas City, clearly.
I think that's what a lot of franchises in the NFL are worried about. What if Mike Tomlin, we saw what Bill Belichick did, that's neither here or there, but I think if Mike Tomlin goes, I'm not done coaching, I'm a player's coach. A lot of players, I should say, love playing for Mike Tomlin. So if he gets a fresh breath air at another organization, the Steelers may be kicking themselves 5 years from now if he gets a young, talented quarterback in a draft and kind of
But why does that matter? Why would that matter to them? I know you're right. But why would it matter to them what he does after he leaves if you're trying to make your house more competitive and more successful? They haven't been successful, no matter how you look at it. They have not been successful under Mike Tomlin, not to their standards. Is that crazy?
No, it's not crazy. I think it's just more of they don't want to see him go elsewhere and have more success. And I don't know if there's a replacement in the wings because right now it'd be Arthur Smith. I would think a former head coach in the NFL. Arthur Smith is not, in my opinion, not the level of head coach that Mike Tomlin is, even with a average record at best sometimes.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right, let's look at the game tonight because this is an interesting one. The Ravens are favored by 7.5, which is a unique number in that in teasers, it's a perfect teaser number. If you think the Ravens roll or win, you take that down to 1.5. That's pretty clear. But if you think the Dolphins, after what we saw against the Falcons, 34-10, knocking a bunch of people out of survivor pools, if you think they're even half of a real deal, you could take them up to 13.5, and that seems like a lock as well. but both can't be so. And teasers are teasers for a reason. I lost two last weekend that I thought were absolute locks. So, which way would you go if you had to in that instance?
I have to go Baltimore, and I really hate saying this, but I get PTSD watching Tua on a Thursday night football game. That's when the
Yeah.
scariest injury of his career happened. So it's very hard for me to watch Tua in prime time or on the spotlight and just not have to, cringe every single snap. For me, I think Baltimore, knowing that the public is talking about them being the betting favorites, I think they're ready to play up to that expectation, while Miami's on life support looking for the season to get over as quickly as possible.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think the fact that the Ravens have a scenario where they could still go to the playoffs, forgetting about the seeding, and the Miami Dolphins don't, I think that's a big motivational tool because the Dolphins play with the Pats, with the Bills, and they're not going to catch either one of those teams. And so that's kind of what you're talking about. But then on the other side, you got the Ravens, who are very mediocre when it comes to the Browns, the Bengals, and the Steelers. So to me, there's high motivation there. Now, it begs the question tonight when you're talking about props and Lamar Jackson, his number is below 40, which is his rushing number, which is very low for him. But he's coming off an injury that I believe for a quarterback outside of a dislocated ankle or a torn, ACL is one of the hardest things to trust coming back from. And when you're a speedster like him, a hamstring is just one pop away from putting you on the bench. How conservative do the Ravens be with Lamar tonight?
I don't think conservative at all, to be honest with you. I think we saw the hoopla with Lamar Jackson last week as he was set to possibly come back against the Bears, and then he practiced it in limited fashion, but he didn't practice in limited fashion. I think they held him out for a reason, and I also think Miami's defense is that atrocious that he could pick his spots. Realistically, he could have 3 runs and 40 yards and hit that prop,
Mhm.
and keep his body safe as well.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stay away. Normally, on a normal week, I bet Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and Josh Allen their rushing numbers, and almost every time I'll hit 2 out of 3. I'll profit. It's those three have been autos when it comes to their numbers. So we'll see if that's going to be adjusted a little bit. An interesting story coming out of LSU, and you and I love stories like this. So Brian Kelly gets fired, and nobody is going to feel sorry for Brian Kelly at a $53 million. Here's your check, walk out the door. You're welcome. However, where it gets interesting is we forget that some of these colleges are attached to the states that they are in. And the Louisiana governor has come out and said, and this is not exactly, Mikey, what you would call a glowing endorsement. He said, and I quote, Scott Woodward, who is the AD at LSU, will not be selecting our next head coach. It's normally the AD's decision. But when you get a $53 million check in your hand to give away, that takes away a little bit of the credibility that you might have. Are you surprised that the governor of Louisiana is stepping in and saying, oh, you can sit down. We'll assemble a committee, a search committee over here.
Well, first and foremost, I thought Big Chuck was the governor down there in the dirty, dirty. I'm not shocked because if what I read is correct, the LSU AD is the same guy who hired Kevin Sumlin or at Texas A&M, the old Texas A&M coach.
Are
So
you kidding?
from what I read, he's responsible for two of the biggest college football buyouts of all time. And so I think the LSU or the
I did not
Louisiana
know. Oh my God. How'd he get to LSU then? I'm so frustrated with people winning after they lose mightily. Holy, that's Sumlin buyout. I was with Sumlin in Vegas right after he got and he's buying drinks for everybody. It's a true story. True story. I was like, isn't that Kevin Sumlin and all those people around him? Yeah, he's buying drinks for everyone. I would too. You
yeah,
paid me 40 large to walk away.
Yeah, I
Holy
don't know
smokes.
how he got this job at LSU, but I think when you look around, especially like you said, a state college, and you go, wait, he has legitimately fumbled the bag not once but twice at a very costly manner. Yeah, we got it from here. You don't need to make any more decisions.
So it begs the question because I think when I hear about the Tulane head coach being in the mix, they're having a really good year. You know, it's an hour away in New Orleans. To me, in the past, because of all the NFL players they have, I mean, it's wide receivers. You there at LSU, it's normally a big name hire. I think we got to get away from that a little bit because there's some really good mid-major college coaches that are young. I say young in their 40s, super high energy, and in the past with Tulane's head coach, no matter what the name is, been eligible to coach at LSU? Oh, the answer is no to that. But now when you have to spend this amount of money to get out of a bad hire, now the next one you're going to go into and say, listen, we've got to reevaluate how we do this because the big name coach these days, there's more misses than hits. Would you agree with that?
I absolutely would agree with that, but I think the market value is in those up and coming rising coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you almost throw not as much, but nearly the same that you would at a big name coach at the guy because you don't want the coach of Tulane to go elsewhere. Penn State's got an opening. So if you're LSU, you're trying to beat out these other big name universities. So I think it's proceed with caution no matter which way you go because there, as you said, there's more misses than hits.
And I want people to understand you're listening to the Coach and Company podcast, Mikey P and the coach. That when you're talking about these buyouts, I think the average fan who's sitting at home goes, oh, they've got so much money, they don't have to worry about it. Here's how these universities do it. That 53 million that Brian Kelly is going to get now with the NIL collectives and all of these rich alumni getting together to put money into a hat, essentially, they go to those people, Mikey, and they say, listen, you want him gone? You keep calling my office? Okay, go get $53 million. The LSU Fighting Tigers are not going to their coffers and saying, "Oh yeah, let's just grab 53 million, put it in a duffel bag, and hand it to them on the way out the door." It's not how it works. So some of these smaller schools, Mikey, that are firing these coaches, they don't do it lightly because these buyouts are a very real problem, and they're not getting smaller; they're getting bigger. But the buyout we don't talk about is if the coach wants to leave. If the coach wants to leave, now you're talking about millions to walk away. That's also something the incoming school has to pay because that coach is not paying it, right? These buyouts are really becoming a big issue and a big topic.
Yeah, I think if the internet is right once again, I think Adidas was behind the James Franklin Penn State firing. And so when you have a company like Adidas saying, we'll pay the buyout, please just get him out of town, it speaks right to your point. But not every school has Adidas pushing them to make a
Mm-hmm.
coaching change. So I think people really need to understand that as much as listen, the NCAA, no matter you're talking football, basketball, it's all a mess. It's fun to talk about, but it is a mess, and the issues are so much deeper than what we can really put our finger on.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to talk about, though.
They're a ton of fun to talk about. A ton of fun to talk about. Topic number 3, and if you're new to our podcast, we never go longer than 20 or 30 minutes. We just like to support the morning show. LA last night, you had a good story and you had a not so good story. Now, the not so good story is the LA Dodgers. And I think that what we're realizing in real time is that you're not going to see teams go out there and do what the LA Dodgers have done. And that is throw every last dollar at every top player to put every best player at their position on their team. Because what we're seeing with the Blue Jays, Mikey, is a team of dogs, a team of guys that you've never heard of. They walk up and you're like, who the hell is that guy? And they have a manager who believes in them. Every interview, they're my guys. Nope, nope, nope. Nothing bothers them. Last night, they looked like the best team. They've got a face in Vladdy Daddy that every time he walks up, he's either going to get a hit or he is going to smile on your face and then do something big and nasty. And they all follow him. The Dodgers are kind of the prima donna talents on the outside going, yep, we're all really rich, but are we champions? I think the Blue Jays win this thing back at home, and I think they do it in game number 6.
As a Boston Red Sox fan, it pains me to say these words, but I believe the Toronto Blue Jays will be the World Series champions. I didn't think the Dodgers would have an opportunity to go back to Toronto trailing and come out victorious in this series. I think Toronto's going to be on fire every single ground ball. And I'll say this, Vladdy Daddy, he's earned that paycheck in just this postseason. And it's not even comparable to what Shohei Ohtani got from the Dodgers. So Vladdy's a great story, but how about Trey Savage? I mean, this kid has been incredible from starting the season in single A all the way up to the World Series, making World Series history, 12 strikeouts, no walks. He's a rookie going up against the likes of Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, and he's just mowing them down. So I think it's a great story for Toronto on all sides of their baseball team.
It's one of my favorite cities that I've ever traveled to, for a lot of reasons that I can't get into right now. But if you're going to party in a city, Toronto is a very good place to start. So I would certainly want to be there. I remember we had WrestleMania 18 in Toronto, and there may or may not have been a night, Mikey, where I was on top of a table at a local sports bar and fell and had to be caught by my boys, or I would have probably landed on my tailbone. Why I was standing on a table, I can't even tell you that. I don't even know that. That's just how great the night was. That's how great the night was.
I knew I was learning all of my acts of having fun from you. I mean, I've said you're a great mentor. I've learned a lot from you in the business, but what I've learned from you in a personal life and standing on tables, I knew I wasn't the only one.
Respect. I did mention there was something good that came out of LA last night, and right now LeBron James hasn't played a minute in the season yet. Luka had a good first two games, and then he went down. Apparently, losing weight does not keep you from being injured. But Austin Reeves, who I like to call the Great White Hope, he has stepped in and been an absolute baller. He goes north of 50 in a game the other night in a win. Then last night, they were a big underdog to Minnesota. No Anthony Edwards, your boy, who you think is going to be the MVP. And Austin Reeves goes out there and he plays like an MVP. 28 points, 16 assists, and the game winner with no time left, buzzer beater. Is this a blessing in disguise that Austin Reeves is getting these opportunities to be the man before the men come back?
Yeah, because it's pick your poison when Luka and LeBron come back. And I think I I don't want to take away from LeBron James's legacy and career, but I think at his age, at this pace, at where he's at in his career, he can almost come in and go, yeah, I'll be LeBron in spurts. I'll let these two guys really run the bulk of the offense. I mean, this team's going to go through Luka no matter what. But Austin Reeves, I mean, the Lakers signed him to an extension before this. So now they're even happier to kind of almost get him at a discounted value, because if he was about to hit the open market, they would be in a lot of trouble. I love it. What mystifies me though, Coach, how 16 assists on that Lakers team? Was he throwing it to himself? I just don't understand how he had 16 assists.
That's hilarious.
I was like, it's got to be a typo. I'm like, did DeAndre Ayton have 30? No. How many did Bronny have? I couldn't believe 16 assists.
Now I'm interested. Now I've got to go back. I got to go see what Bronny did, because now you're going to drive me crazy. Let's pull that up real quick. 116, 115. I'm going to laugh. I know it. Here's the line for one Bronny James last night. He did play. He did play 4 minutes, 0 points, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 steals, 0 blocks. He did have a turnover, however, so he does have his name. And the team was +5 with him on the floor. So he can't say that he's a player that hurts the team. He's +5. Oh my God. +5. By the way, DeAndre Ayton, 17 points last night. So we tease. And some guy named Larevia scored 27.
Number 12. That's number 12 on the Lakers. In case Anthony Edwards.
We're caught. That's the guy that was saying who's number 12? Yeah. I didn't hear you say the name. Because I just did it. Oh my God. That's what
Dick
I'm saying.
LaRavia, coach.
Oh my God. Oh, so Hachimura had 17, 8, and it may be a bigger blessing in disguise than what we were just talking about Austin Reeves, because 17, 17, 27, 28. Dalton Connect had 15 off the bench. Now, they only played 4 dudes off the bench. Connect played 36 minutes, and then nobody else played more than 12. So heavy, heavy, heavy minutes for the starters for the Lakers. But that's okay, because they're not gonna have to play that the whole season. That's okay for this team. So certainly the Lakers, I would say, living out here, they are the brand, even though the Dodgers think they are. But it's really the Lakers. I mean, they're worth what, north of 10 billion they just sold for.
Yeah.
So uh, that's hilarious, bro. That is absolutely hilarious. I cannot believe that. I absolutely cannot believe that. All right. Real quick tonight, premium pop up. It's gonna be fun. We're moving um the show to 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. Just so I think it's important for us to have a little bit of a runway, because Thursday night football, I believe, is 8:15 p.m. Eastern time, right? So last night we had a lot of fun. Tonight, I believe there's 2 Thursday night games. Have you happened to look at them yet to see who they are?
I have, and Marshall and Coastal Carolina. I don't know how. I actually thought that that's why we were moving it up. I thought we wanted to get right in at kickoff. I thought you were giving me an opportunity for a first quarter play here, and Marshall and
I
Coastal.
am. I am. I am. Maybe let's go with the first half play. We'll
All
come in.
right,
We'll,
we'll
we'll
go
come
first
in hot. We'll come in hot. We'll come in like at 7:28.
half.
So if you want to do a first quarter, we got you. We got you. All right. So that's been established. If you're a premium member, Kimberly, I see you. Get there at 7:28 so we can get a first quarter play in. I love the first quarter sweats. There was nothing worse than last night, them taking 4 minutes to go 30 yards at the end of the first quarter. Like, where's the deep ball? Where's the deep pass? Let's go.
2 nights in a row. 2 nights in a row. I think Kennesaw State at the end of the first half is getting a targeting penalty, and that they'll get a field goal. Clearly, when when the guy lowers his head and it goes helmet to helmet on the quarterback, the ref didn't see it, so that's great. I mean, that's fantastic. So what do? We throw a Hail Mary that came up 9 yards short. Great job, Kanishwa State, or however Stoopy said it.
Canisius. He called it Canisius. He couldn't even pick a school with football. It's like Canisius State. They're not playing in Japan. It's not Canisius State. Oh, by the way, you talk about cities, Tokyo. If you said, Coach, you had to move outside the United States, but it put me on a first class flight to Tokyo, you would love it, Mikey. The people, the respect that the Japanese have for life, all of us could learn from. It's embarrassing how bad the American people are when you deal with the Japanese. Embarrassing. There's so, I mean, everything's a thank you or a bow or give it. I never got asked for an autograph or a picture without them giving me something. And it was a little something, wasn't, it was like eye drops. But they make the best eye drops in the world in Japan. Did you know that?
I did not know that, but now I know how I can get your autograph now moving
Yeah,
forward.
yeah. Well, I couldn't use them because I wear contacts, so don't get me eye drops, because you can't use eye drops when you wear contacts. But they would follow you down the street. They have this whole place called Roppongi, where all the restaurants are and the nightlife is, and it is popping in Tokyo.
I
Uh,
gotta ask, do you
yeah.
know what, if you had to guess, because I feel like you might get close. If you had to guess what city I would move to outside of the United States, where do you
Well,
think I would?
I mean, Amsterdam's probably where I would say you would want to go.
I mean, you're not too far off. It's not even hesitation. It's Dublin. It's Dublin, Ireland, without a doubt.
Well, that's because of the drinking.
I mean, no, it's. Have you been to Ireland? It's beautiful. They're
Yes,
all
yes,
great people.
yes.
They're nice
I've been to
people.
all
They're
those.
very welcoming. They're very friendly.
Yeah, I just don't like a state where every single corner there is a bar. And in Ireland, that's like a national pastime, is
Sounds
drinking.
horrible.
You remember when McAfee went? He almost didn't come back. He almost said, "Can I do the show from here every day?" Yeah, I know it's gonna be 6 o'clock at night. Doesn't matter. I want to stay here. He literally drank like 32 beers and claimed that he took like 10 edibles. What other on-air person could go, "Yep, I was on 8 edibles and then I had a 12 pack." ESPN.
And then show up to work and get
Yeah. Hey, we
fined.
love you, Pat. We love you. Come on back, big dog. We'll build you a bigger stage. How about that? All right. I will see you tonight, big dog. I appreciate you as always. Thank you to everybody in the chat, all of Kimberly, and everybody watching at home on our social media and audio and video as well. We'll see you tonight. Don't forget 2 to 4 Eastern time. Also, channel 156 Off the Ropes with me and all of your latest pro wrestling news. And then at 5 p.m. Eastern time, special start time today because we're not on Stadium. And Vince is like a big star or something. So he's been traveling. What has he ever done? So we'll do that at 5 p.m. Eastern time. And then we will have premium pop up at 4. The time I live in Pacific time, 7:30 p.m. Eastern time as well. All right, that's going to do it for now. For Mikey P, for producer man, I am the coach. We'll see you next time on the Coach and Company podcast. And there is only one. Have a great day.